Hey, it's Carrie the Nosy Housefrau. Thank you for coming to my channel. Car ride, we're going for a car ride. I actually was all set to film in the guest room today, and then my husband called because it seems like his credit card got into my purse and he needs it. And I was like, it is in my purse. What do you think happened? So I'm bringing it to him. We both forgot. But the point also is that I was gonna do this in my guest room, so I put on a lot of makeup because it doesn't read on that camera and with that lighting, and in order to not look washed out. A lot of people in the business call it cake up. I had to put a little bit of cake up on. So you put on makeup a little thicker, and in the middle of the day when you're 51, it probably looks a bit much. I'm gonna be going into the Kroger like, they want my autograph, Max. It might look a little cuckoo, but you know what? I won't see those people again. I mean, until tomorrow. So I thought, I'm going on a car ride. I really have things on my mind, and while they're fresh in my mind, I'll just take everybody with me because a lot of you guys like the car rides. I want to move on. Personally, myself personally, I'm ready to stop the James Charles conversations. I know that's probably to a lot of people's relief and probably to a lot of people's dismay. But personally, I'm at a place where I feel like everything has come to a head, and we've talked about it a lot. However, because there's always something new every day, a video came to light by the waiter in Seattle. And of course, Gabriel Zamora put out his video. I'm going to link T by Allie's video below because I watched that today and that was great regarding Gabriel Zamora. But I want to talk about the waiter's video. First of all, let's talk about our agreed upon language. I want to ask, what does drama, that word, mean to you? To me, on this particular channel, drama means the discussion about the behaviors and conflict on YouTube. It is not gossip for gossip's sake. So what I am unable to do is get on board with somebody describing James Charles as a horrible kisser. I like to think that the fact that left a bad taste in my mouth, if you'll pardon the expression, is what separates me from people like James Charles and other people who have no empathy. I don't have the stomach for public humiliation on this level. He's already down. He's got the world against him, which I can't really imagine and haven't earned. But I thought that was tacky, to say the least. I thought it was inappropriate. It's none of my business, and it's not something that is anything but objective. So I just thanks for putting him in the position to have to defend James Charles. His bad behavior has been a legion, between lying his way into the industry, stealing people's content, never giving them credit for it, and brushing it off smugly, being aggressive towards people, doing everything he can to get people off PR lists, people who by all accounts were not as privileged as James Charles. That didn't stop James Charles from making sure he got them off of PR lists. And it goes on. The stupid Ebola comments, the immaturity, just me, everything about me. All of that are reasons to dislike James Charles, but none of that, for me, is a reason to publicly humiliate him by talking about how he is intimate with people. That is between you and him. And I want to keep in mind the people who Gabriel... Whoa, God, that guy was coming out way too far, so they beeped down, but they scared the bejesus out of me. Don't do that. Some of us have PTSD, okay, from bad childhoods. All right, back to a happy place. So, James Charles was not called a predator by these people he pursued, okay? That comes from other people. And I understand why Tati Westbrook had that view of him. What I think she felt was that he is far too aggressive and doesn't concern himself with the status of these people. Now, it has come to light that this waiter did pursue James Charles and wrote him a letter, contacted him, and then says they made out for an hour. And then he felt like he sent him the message saying, I'm straight. Now, everybody can say that should have been the end of it, but for James Charles, he might have been on cloud 9 over this person. And so what if he was talking to other people? That's what sounded like there was almost an accident. I'm sorry, this is Toledo. You'll probably hear crashes, sirens. It's all in a day's drive. So, they're crazy. So anyway, God, I apologize because this isn't the best way to do drama. This person put up his video saying that he made out with him for an hour. James Charles probably got his hopes up. And yeah, maybe he was talking to other people. You're telling me when you're dating, you don't talk to multiple people? And, you know, in his case, maybe he's seeing what sticks. And if he had started a relationship with one of them, he would tell the other one goodbye. I don't judge that. I really don't know what was going on. But here's a guy who makes out with him for an hour. Most of us conceive children in less time, okay? I'm just saying that's a long time to make out with somebody you're not interested in. I had somebody one time when I was a young girl kiss me and felt like he was doing some kind of tonsil check with his tongue, and you're just like, you stop that pretty quick. But this guy made out with him for an hour, so it must have been really horrible. An hour? I leave the doctor's office if he makes me wait an hour. I don't like waiting for anything. An hour to me is a long time. It's like, what, practically 60 minutes. So he's making out with him and then decides he doesn't like him. That's not his cup of tea. Whatever. You're young. You're experimenting. You're, figuring out what's what. I don't judge that. But for James Charles to get to a point where he's like, well, I think you are gay. Whatever. You'll find it out. What have you. He acted poorly. He acted resentfully. Perhaps even tried to manipulate. But that doesn't mean that he was inappropriate to the point where people should be concerned that he's some kind of sexual predator. I swear, the way some people talk, it's like he roofied these people. Yes, he is aggressive. And I think from Tati Westbrook's position, it was like, stop being oversexed. You're at my birthday party. You're talking in front of people in detail about what you want to do to this waiter. That is just having, being just so in your own world that you're not being appropriate. So I could see from her perspective how it's like, tone it down a notch. You're being predatory. But typically, when I think of a predator, I think of somebody who pursues someone with absolutely no thought for what that person wants. And it's really, to me, at this point, I have not seen that level. It's just a word I reserve for something criminal. And I haven't seen anybody convince me that James Charles has done anything criminal. Pushy, possessive, acting spoiled, all of those things. Manipulative, yes, but a sexual predator? I'm sorry, not by my standards. And perhaps we all have different lines in the sand of what we think is a predator. It is to be a hunter, absolutely. But, when it comes to the mating ritual, when people are young, if you have money, if you have looks, big boobs, whatever, everybody uses what they have to seduce people. That is not criminal. That is human nature. That is sexuality, and anybody who tells you differently is a liar or a fool. However, when it becomes something to be concerned about is when you continue to pursue, or you manipulate or set them up, or say there's going to be a public meeting and then the person gets there and it's only you and them. Those things are predatory. And I haven't seen that kind of dishonesty in terms of these get-togethers. Now, I will say, when you are, and I've said this before, when you are getting involved with someone who doesn't know what they want or who they are, you cannot complain that you got hurt, because that's going very likely, very possible that is going to happen. It's not going to go your way. And James Charles does not like to be told no. So he becomes very childish and immature and threatens, with lawyers or what have you. I thought his response when this kid said, so you were talking to him too? And he said, yeah, what do you care? It's exactly what he should have said. What do you care? You don't want me, so what do you care if I'm talking to somebody else? You just met. You're just talking, and maybe, I don't know, dare I put this out there, James Charles should know what he wants too. Because if you're just going to hook up with people, don't act like they walked out on a 20-year relationship, okay? If you're going to hook up with people, you're going to always face being treated like the one-night stand you treated yourself like. You're going to sign the invisible contract, is what I call it. When I was younger, if you were going to hook up with somebody and you have a conversation, what he doesn't say is important. If you agree to be with somebody without certain dialogue, you have signed a contract that says there are no strings attached. And that is just understood. So, quit acting like they're not in a relationship when you tell them, I'll do anything to be with you. I'll do anything to hook up with you. I'll fly you here. I'll do this. I'll do that. And then, and then you act like it was a relationship that went sour. There's no relationship there. And he knows there's no relationship there. That's why he's pursuing other avenues. Throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. So that was just something I wanted to touch upon. So don't appreciate having to defend James Charles, but I think we all need to take a step back and think about this, and think about what it means and what his responsibility was in terms of those interactions. I really can see how, from Tati Westbrook's perspective, he just looked really far gone and going over the line in terms of making her birthday party. It seems to me, anyway. These are not her words. It seems like he made her birthday party about him and what he wanted, and everybody there is to just, have the fun party about him. So anyway, I wanted to get this out of the way, and hopefully later I can vlog in the guest room again and talk about Trisha Paytas and Nikocado Avocado, because I think that's something that deserves a little attention, and I sure could use a break from all James Charles all the time. I'm ready to move on from that, and I know it's far from over. I know that, but I'm not so sure I personally will feel a need to chime in on anything. I think I've said everything I wanted to say about it. When something new comes up, whether it's about Jeffree Star or this other behavior, I may, if the other people speak on it, address it again. Certainly, I should address what I thought about Jeffree Star putting out those tweets saying your brother's a predator. I think that he has a real impulse control problem when it comes to tweets. And if Jeffree Star is going to come out of the woodwork and say that his former best buddy is somehow a sexual predator, that is a bold claim that requires bold evidence, and he should follow up on that, because he did make him sound like public enemy number one, and that he was, in his words, a threat to society. How? If you're going to say that about someone, please follow up with how. Some of these bigger influencers, these bigger gurus, they know that what they say packs a punch, and I don't think they should be held to a different standard when they accuse people of things. I think that if you were going to say that about him to all of your viewers, you were in a hot air balloon with him, having him do your makeup. He was at your house. He was in your life. Oh, I know what I wanted to point out. When Jeffree Star said that Nate wanted him banned from the house, I personally, my conspiracy was, as a nod to Rich Lux, my conspiracy allegedly was that I couldn't help but wonder if this took place around the time that Nate's brother was in town. Did James Charles make overtures to him, and did something happen? Was he trying, because we all know, whether you want to use the word predator or not, he can be over the top and extra in his pursuit of what he wants. We all know that. So when his cute brother was there, right? You remember that old joke, do you have a brother? I kind of wonder if James Charles was inappropriate in some way that made Nate go, you know what? I don't even want him over here anymore. That will be interesting. I think that it stands to reason that more about this will come out as time goes on. That, again, is just my thought. It does not mean that it actually happened. But I wondered about the timeline, because he said he hadn't talked to her. And if anybody remembers, I think Nate's brother was in town for a while around then. So it will be interesting to know if that is what happened. As for the waiter, he is cute. I could see why people thought he was adorable and attractive and adorable. But he really should learn. Don't do that. Don't make videos like that of exposing somebody that way. That's something that you maybe tell people in private. But when you do that on the internet, that is the difference between drama and gossip for gossip's sake. So saith a housefrau.